What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Guys, if you caught my last video, if you haven't, this video might not make a lot of sense to you, so you might want to go watch it. I'll put a card right here. But anyway, guys, if you caught my last video, you know that I was at Bowling Green, and yes, the weather was very hot. It was hot. It was, you know, it was miserable, to be honest with you. But you know, I was a little concerned with how the car was running, and a lot of you have said it was the heat. The heat was doing it, and yes, while I agree, and I'm one of the first to tell you that heat will kill a supercharged car. However, I've had this car in higher DA with more humidity, and trust me, it was a miserable night. And I have a video of that, and I'll as this video goes, I'm going to be putting in runs and cars of videos, so you guys, if you're interested, you can go back and watch the video. You can see how the car done. Now, like I said, I'm not one to jump the gun and say there's something off with the car, but I've been doing a little, since I've been back home, I've been going back through my videos, I've been watching, I've been pulling up time slips, I've been doing a lot of things, and the website that I go to, that you can look up track DA, they actually have a historical button that you can hit, and you can go back and you can put in a date, and you can go down and look time, hour by hour at the DA, the temperature, humidity, all of that. You can go back and look at every bit of that. So I went back, I looked at my runs, and I went back and I started writing down exactly how the car was doing, and looking in the video, trying to pay attention to the IAT2s in the video and all of that. And I have had this car in a very similar situation. It was in 3200 DA, and the car ran better than it did at Bowling Green. Now, could it been just the heat and everything else going on in Bowling Green, the back-to-back runs and all that? Yes. That's why I stayed till Sunday morning and made that one run where I did everything like I normally do. Popped the hood, put the fuse in, did all of that, and then went and made a pass. And I ran the exact same mile per hour and a little less DA the next morning. So that's when things started to go, okay, maybe something's off. But if you remember, when I was in Jackson a week prior, when I was in Jackson on Friday night, I was in 1600 DA, very cool night, the air was great, and I ran 96 mile an hour. Now, I'm about to show you a list that I did that has a lot of information on it that might help you along to see what I'm seeing with the car, not only just seeing that I was in hot air and everything like that. So before I get started, could it have been plain hot air? Yes. But, however, I'll show you what I've got and then we'll talk a little bit. But real quick, I did change my thermostat back from the 170 to the factory 192. Now, why did I do that? We're going to get into that. We are going to get into that. But here lately, not only with what I'm about to tell you and what we're going to be testing, but also here lately, driving down the road, I do have the VMP triple pass heat exchanger. And driving down the road, my temperatures, driving down the road with the heat exchanger fans going and everything else, my temperature has been 172 to 175 on the road. Now, you know, an engine does not need to run that cool. It really doesn't. And that's one reason I went back to the 192 thermostat. My car never ran too hot. My car always ran great. The most I ever seen on an extremely hot day getting on it was 203. So the car never did run what I would consider hot. It run pretty much normal operating temperature. So we're going to talk a little bit about that in this video, guys. So first off, we're going to start out, and I don't know if you can see this, but we're going to start, hold on, let me bring it up here. Yeah, there we go. All right, so we're going to start out, the J stands for Jackson. Now that is my hometown 8th mile track. Okay, so as you see, on the 10th of August at 6 p.m., I ran 95 mile an hour and 3262 DA, and the track was at 400 foot elevation. Later on that evening, I ran at 9 p.m. I ran 97 mile an hour because the DA had dropped to 2569. On the 23rd of August, I ran 96 to 97 mile an hour in different passes in 2300 DA. After that, we installed the wide open throttle box. So my first outing with the wide open throttle box, I was still getting used to it. So we got on the 24th, which was the very next day after the 23rd, that was on a Friday, so the 24th was on a Saturday. We went back to the track and I ran 97 mile an hour in 2369 DA. Still getting used to the wide open throttle box. I had to learn a little bit about it and what it liked. So the very next week, we get the car down in 1786 DA and I hit 99 mile an hour. So the car is doing great, the wide open throttle box is doing great, everything seems to be doing great. Now we go to Mooresville in South Carolina on the September 5th. And I run 97 to 98 mile an hour. I made two passes. The first pass was 98 mile an hour. The second pass was 97 mile an hour. Both passes were in 2900 DA. I will say, with that DA, the humidity was not horrible at all. It was just a lot of the reason was we was in 797 feet. So normally in Jackson, if I'd have been in that same temperature and humidity, we'd have probably been around 2000 DA. I would want to say maybe 2200 DA, something around that area. Now, we are going to go into something that we've done. We installed the 170 thermostat, okay? Now, most people would want to say that the cooler the engine, the better it is. But I've heard before that engines like to run at certain temperatures. Some engines make their most horsepower at certain temperatures. So, is it possible that with installing the 170 thermostat, I've cooled it down outside of where it makes its most horsepower? After the 170 thermostat install, we went to Jackson and we was in 1500 DA. Now, keep in mind, this is the best DA I have been in since I've installed the headers, the cold air, the throttle body, and all the stuff that I've installed. This is the best DA that my car has been in. And I ran 96 mile an hour. Now, if you look up here, when I was in 1700 DA, at the very same track, I run 99 mile an hour. So we ran 96 mile an hour at 1588 DA. If you remember in that video, that's the video I raced a Charger. In that video, I talked to you guys about, I suspected maybe fuel, because I had got gas somewhere I normally don't get fuel. So I suspected fuel. I suspected maybe that was the reason we was down on mile per hour, because you know, just a couple weeks prior, we were at 99 mile per hour in 1700 DA on the exact same track. And then we dropped down to 96 mile an hour in better DA on the same track. That shouldn't happen. And that was both runs were very clean runs. So what this is telling me is that I dropped off somehow. Okay, guys? So now we are getting in to Bowling Green. Now, if you notice, Bowling Green, we're at 3000 DA. We dropped to 93 mile per hour. Now, let's talk about that for a minute. Now, up here, I ran 99 mile per hour in 1700 DA, okay? Then up here, I ran 95 mile per hour in 3262 DA. Okay, that is to be expected. Now, keep in mind, the wide open throttle box is helping just a little on the mile per hour. Because you can see up here, I was in 2300 DA and run 96 to 97. Down here, I run 97, 98, and 2900 DA. So you can, as you can see, the wide open throttle box, it was or is helping the car with the mile per hour. So you would normally expect to lose 2 to 3 mile per hour going from 1700, 2000 DA down to 3000 DA, you know, and I would expect that. So in Bowling Green, I should have been running 95 mile per hour because on that day, the humidity and everything else was worse than it was in Bowling Green. On that day, I ran 95 mile per hour. Okay, we're down here, I'm running 93 mile per hour. Now, you might say it's 2 mile per hour. A lot of things can cause a car to run off. Yes, I do agree. But I had 2 good passes at 93 mile per hour and the next day at 93 mile per hour, and they were good passes. So there was nothing off about the passes that would have led to mile per hour being dropped more than the normal. So anyway, guys, so this led me into thinking, okay, what did I do between this and this? The only thing I did was install the 170 thermostat. Now, if you get to the whole idea of what I've been told by a few people, is that these engines, or engines similar to these, like to run in the 190s range, okay? The most I ever see out of this car, and it has to be an extremely hot day and I have to be running a lot, which I did in Bowling Green with the back-to-back passes, I see 185. That's the most this car sees. Most of the time it's 180 or better. I've even, on the way to work this morning, I even seen 169 for a little while before it creeped over to 170. And keep in mind, I am running the triple pass heat exchanger with fans. So I've got fans blowing and going down the road, so it cools down really well. Even with the 192 thermostat, I run around 193, 194, up into 196. On a very hot day, 199, 200. And so the car does not run, it does not overheat. A lot of people wanted me to run this thermostat, and so I changed it out and I ran it. And to be honest with you, if I was in a hotter climate, like maybe down in Florida, I probably would want to do this and then move my fan speeds around to where the car ran more where I want it to run. We have run the thermostat in 3 different DAs. And I promise you, when I go back to Jackson this Friday night, it's going to be close to one of these 3 DAs. And if I jump back up to these numbers, after pulling this out, it kind of leads to this right here, this whole issue right here. That might be the cause for it. Maybe the motor is running too cold and it's just not running its optimum horsepower. It's lost some horsepower because of that. Now, like I said, we know that we want cold air going into the engine, but the engine itself, they like to run a certain temperature, and that's where they make the most power. I know some of you, guys, if you was to tell me that I was going to install this and my car slowed down, I would have told you, no way in the world. No way. No way. It's not going to cause my car to slow down. It's not going to do it. But am I saying that it did it because of this? No. I'm saying that's why we're testing, because I have the facts in front of me are suggesting that this might be the culprit. So we are going to eliminate that. That's all we're doing, is process of elimination, and see if we can get the car back to running what it was running. Because I run this car so much that I know what it should run mile per hour in each DA. I even have more data than this that I could collect. But I just wanted to get three samples from each mod, and that's the reason I don't go crazy with modding the car all at once, because I like to see what the car does after each mod. So that's the reason I do it in steps. I always mod my car in steps. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I've been rambling long enough. I will be going live tonight. This video, not tonight that I'm filming, but tonight that this video's airing. This video's airing Thursday. I will be going live at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Feel free to come in, hang out. We'll have a discussion. We can talk about things. And you know, guys, like I said, this is just me testing. I'm not telling you to take your thermostat and throw it away. I'm not telling you it's no good. I'm not telling you none of that. So please do not take that away from this video. All we're doing is testing, and I'm keeping you updated with what I'm doing, what I'm testing. And if my mile per hour does not pick up, then we will test further, and we will take you along for the journey to find out what exactly is pulling this car down. Because like I said, I've run in several DAs. It's not like I run this car in the spring and the fall and then take it out for one test summer pass and go, oh no, my car is off. To be honest with you, I've never seen good DA in this car yet. I have not seen good DA in this car yet. Great DA, what everybody considers great DA, I have not seen it in this car yet. So I don't even know what the car is capable of in that DA. I've been running in crappy DA all summer. So when a lot of people go, it was the DA, it was this, it was that. Okay, I understand what you're saying, but you have to understand that I run my car all summer long. Pretty much every weekend that it's open, I'm running my car. So I'm very well aware of what it does in certain temperatures and certain DA, and that's when you run a car that much, you kind of get a hint on something's a little off. stay tuned. Saturday, you will have my track video from Friday night. Whatever happens, it will always be in there. I don't hide anything. As you've seen in my last video, I don't hide stuff, guys. I'll let you know exactly what's going on with the car. And if I have issues, you know, I'm going to talk about it. Especially, now some issues I have, I might wait until I find a conclusion and then talk about it. But with this issue, you guys kind of got the hint in my last video that I was kind of getting concerned about what was going on with the car. And I was kind of taking a step back and going, okay, we got to look at the car. We got to figure out, was it purely heat or was it more than that? And that's what we're doing, guys. That's what we're doing. We're taking you along for the journey. So we will see you in the next video, and you will have a track video, and you'll know, did this work or did it not? Do we need to continue testing? That'll all be determined in the next video.